Hello there! I'm Squire Callahan Ridgeborn, almost a battle master, always a wizard, and tonight I am joined by Inquisitor Solgaleo Galacta, a Paragon Bard from Neverwinter.
Yes.
Solgaleo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I love talking about Bard.
Awesome. I'm so excited to have you on. I recommended you really highly, so I knew I needed to get you in here as quick as we're able. We're coming down to the wire. We only have a couple of Paragon interviews left before the end of the year, so I'm glad we were able to get you scheduled. How did you start playing Amtgard?
So at the time, I was living with my roommate, his name is Elidibus the Death Singer, or this is his game name, and at our local park, Falling Fire, which was the park I started out at, which only just changed the last like 2 weeks, he was getting coronated as the champion of our local park, and he was just like, "Do you want to come out for my coronation? I'm gonna be champion." I was just like, "I don't know what that means, but sure." I went out, I was like, "Hey, I really want to try playing Bard because it's my favorite class in D&D. I like playing supports. I want to try it." And everyone's like, "It's kind of weird, but if you try, then you might like it, but casters are kind of hard." And I was like, "All right, whatever, I'll start it." And then the rest is history.
Okay. Oh, that's such a great way to get started. That's wonderful. What fictional character best represents how you play Bard?
See, this is one that I actually stared at for like a solid 20 minutes. Like, when you said this to me, I read through all of them, I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, cool, cool." And then I stared at that one, I was like, "Oh my god." I think that, for me personally, initially when I started, I wanted to try to go for a Robin Hood aesthetic, which Robin Hood, you wouldn't really play him as a bard, but that's kind of how I wanted to build my character around those ideals.
Okay.
But in terms of like an actual fictional character that straight up represents how I play my class, I kind of envision it more like I'm trying to think of like just a straight up like chill bard who does all the, because I play like pure support when I play
Okay.
bard, so I'm trying to think of something that's more along those lines, which is escaping me at the moment. Oh god, hold on. Wait, Enter the Mind Chamber. A lot of my stuff is based off of like video games. I would say that one of the biggest influences outside of that was also this game Eternal Sonata, which is on the Xbox.
Okay.
And it's like a JRPG and everything is themed around music. It's themed around Frederick Chopin, and the game is ridiculous and weird but really cool. And I kind of stole from a lot of those aesthetics, but my character's just kind of like hyper bard, runs around like a chicken with their head cut off, is buffing people. That's kind of my shtick.
Cool. So why did you pick Bard to be your starting class?
Literally, just the thematics. I did not look at what any class did. I didn't care what they did. All I knew was that Solgaleo was meant to be a bard, and that's what I wanted to play. That's how I wanted to start playing. I knew that casters were difficult, and I was like, I don't care. I want to play Bard. That's what I want to do.
So it was
That's how I started
entirely
playing.
vi-
It was entirely vibes. Even if I had read the abilities, I probably still would have picked Bard anyways, because then as Bard was getting explained to me when they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a really supportive class," I was like, "I'm listening. I want that. That is what I want to play."
Awesome. So why do you still like Bard now?
I think that Bard is really unique with the way that it does support, because it is in fact the only class in the game that can charge other people's stuff. And one thing about me is, like, for the longest time, I was not a fighter. I have only recently started actually fighting and going to fighters practices and actually doing tourneys. Part of that because of like off-field injuries, and part of that also just because of lack of interest. But Bard was a class that I could always play no matter how meh I was feeling. Even when like I was having a rough time with like back pain and stuff, I could still play it even if I wasn't as mobile. But it has so much like uniqueness it brings to the table with charging other people's stuff. I feel like I'm doing a lot just because I'm talking so much, so it kind of just makes me feel like I'm having a good time. And also, it's really fun to go up to people who are like frustrated because they're out of their stuff and go, "No, you're not. Here you go." And the joy that emerged. But I just think it's really fun. I think it's just incredibly unique. There's not really another class that's like it, and I think that that's really cool.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit on how Bard fills out that support role? Because Bard doesn't get heal, they don't get resurrect, they don't get magic armor. They can give abilities back, I guess, but how do you really maximize that to be
So
a good support player?
So a lot of the way that I play Bard is I play Battery Bard, which is like the portable charger for the team. I will walk around when people are running low on their abilities that can be charged, top them off with confidence. When they're running low on their per life abilities, either empower or restoration them. it's support in the aspect of I am buffing people next to me. Like similar to how like if you're playing like a support in like D&D, bards get like healing, I guess, but their healing is never as good as like a cleric or a druid. But they do buffs through bardic inspiration or giving other random spell buffs to their team, which the way that bard fits that niche in Amtgard is the stuff like, Song of Power, cutting people's charge time in half. For the longest time, they were the only class that got Sleight of Mind, the get out of jail free card for a Dispel Magic. They have Heart of the Swarm, which I know Druid also has, but like Heart of the Swarm is still just an awesome push my team forward and just keep pressure on a point spell. There is a way you can get heal on Bard because you can take Battlefield Triage. Do I ever personally do it? No.
Sure.
But like, I know a couple Bards who do, because for them it works, especially if you don't have a healer on your team or other people who can heal. It helps fills that niche. And also, you can turn people basically into mini versions of other classes, low-key. So like, some of my favorite people to battery, wizards, healers, druids, the other spellcasters, because obviously they have chargeable stuff, they have pro-life stuff, cool. Everyone likes getting topped off for that.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Monk. Whenever I have friends who are monks, there is a monk at Falling Fire. His name is Harusara. He uses all of his monk stuff, including, those juicy resurrects and heals. So when I'm on a team and I'm low on healers, I walk over to him and I'm just like, hey, go start resurrecting people. Charge, charge, charge. And just start charging his resurrect because he can use it, and he will. And there's plenty of other monks that'll do that. Or paladins that will do that with their greater resurrects and greater heals. Like, there's a lot more options than just the casters, which I feel like when you realize that, it opens up a lot. Like, now, barbarians, their rage is chargeable.
Yes.
That's stupid. I can charge a barbarian's rage. It's like the only class that fills that niche, because there's so many people who won't charge their own stuff because it's cumbersome until they're off the field, and then they're sitting out for like 30 seconds charging their stuff. And it's like, cool, I'll charge you up and like 5 other people, and then I'll sit here for a few minutes and charge myself up, and then I'm ready to go, So.
Okay. Well, what is your favorite bard spell?
Terror.
Terror is a great spell.
Terror is just a great spell. The reason why is that for the longest time, it was the best CC. When I was working on my Paragon Bard, I was playing during Saucy. So Death was really helpful because there were not a lot of classes that were immune to it, which is still true. The only class that's naturally immune to it is, Paladin? Yeah, Paladin. And then obviously I hit Terror or Monk. But other than that, everyone's free range. Like, even if they're scouts, most of the time, they don't take immunity to death with Adaptive Blessing. They're gonna take it for something that's more used, like Command or anything else. But, Terror is just the most, like, easily utilized CC that a Bard has. If you're sitting next to a healer and you're being their battery bard, when someone keeps trying to aggro you and fight you, you can just be like, Terror, leave me alone for 30 seconds so I can res my team, and then come back and then I'll terror you away again. I don't care. Because it's just a great get off of me tool. And then also, I'm a huge fan of the fact that it is level 4, which means I can experience it and make it chargeable.
Yeah.
That's why I hate agoraphobia. I think agoraphobia is bad because it's level 5. If it wasn't level 5, I wouldn't care. If it was level 4, great spell. But since it's level 5, kinda sucks. That's why Lost is good, even though Lost is level 5, because Lost is per life. So Lost is good, agoraphobia is bad. That's my thing. Also, Confidence is the other, like, Confidence is objectively the best bard spell, but Terror is like my favorite.
Okay.
But Confidence is like the second favorite. It's kind of both of them for very different reasons, but
Yeah, I can see that. Which bard spell do you like the least?
there's so many. Oh, okay. I say there's so many. There's not that many, but there's just a lot that I think are clunky. If I was making a spell list, I would never take them over something else. Bit A, what is it? Discordia now? Useless. Discordia is useless now.
Yes.
Why is Discordia useless? Because I have Break Con 8 per life when I'm playing a Dervish Bard. Don't care. Oh yeah, I guess if we're also counting things like a buy on my spell list, Dervish is also my other favorite thing, because Dervish just gives me more of my things.
Yeah.
What? Still. Just, if I had to pick one at each level that I absolutely hate, and this is gonna be opinionated, but I don't care. At level 6, Silver Tongue, horrible. I hate Silver Tongue. The only people I would ever give it to normally already have Swift anyways, so whatever, don't care. Discordia, it's just bad. I don't hate it, but it's just bad. At level 4, every spell at level 4 is good. I cannot even lie. Level 4 is the best bard level. When you hit level 4, everything opens up, the pearly gates are open, you're there. It's perfect. Level 3, everything there's also pretty solid, except like I never take Battle for Triage, but it's not bad. At level 2, you get Song of Visit, which is the worst bard spell, but at least it's funny, so it gets a little bit of credit there, but it's bad. And then at level 1, everything's fine. I never take Insult because it doesn't, like, really work right now because of how much command immunity there is, but, like, it's still solid.
With
But
so much command immunity, it's not even funny.
yeah. That's the only thing that makes Bard feel a little bad right now if you're playing offensive, is you're kind of only taking Terror because of all the command immunity that's on the field. Terror and Stun, that's it.
What are your thoughts on the different Bard songs? How do you like those? Or do you use any?
So I personally like most of them. I don't like Song of Visit because it's just Sanctuary Light basically, and it doesn't actually really give you much. Like, it's whatever. I think most people know that Song of Visit's like a little bit more of a meme than anything else. This is a hot take that I will stand by till I die. I hate Song of Interference because it's charge 5. If it wasn't charge 5, I would love it. But because it's charge 5, it's like, cool, I'm gonna walk into an engagement, I'm gonna cast something at someone because I'm playing a combat caster, so that's what I want to do, and then I have to charge 5 to get my Song of Interference back? That's horrible. Why would I do that? You could do it, like, in the middle of the fight, but that also, why would you need to? All you gotta do is walk in with Song of Deflection, do what you want, bring it up until you're in the middle of the line fight, drop it, go to Song of Freedom, continue onward, and then switch as you will because there's no charge on those. If you just play smarter, you don't need Song of Interference.
Well, and it feels clunky to be a times 5.
Yeah, it's just clunky. If it was charge 3, perfect, no complaints. It's level 6 anyways. Just make it charge 3.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, because like a charge 5, like that just I know it's supposed to be their strong ability, and that you don't want anyone to have their unlimited strongest ability. I mean, monks get
like
that at level 1 forever.
Yeah, monks get that at level 1, and they don't have to do a chant. It's already clunky enough switching between songs and casting. Adding a charge in between that, unnecessary in my opinion. It's also just weird because the only other reason I don't like it is because no other song is like that. All the other ones are unlimited. So just for consistency's sake, I don't like that it's the only one that's a charge. If it's gonna be a charge, at least make it charge 3. But I digress. I like most of the songs. Like, Song of Survival's good. Do I personally take it? No. I don't fight up front. So, realistically, if someone's diving me that hard, my team's already screwed anyways. I'm in the back line. No one should be near me. Because if people are running up to me anyways, I'm not standing still. I'm running away from them.
Right.
Like, they're not gonna get me. That's not happening. But the ones at level 4, again, level 4 is the best bard level because you get Song of Power, which is the best bard song, and you get Song of Deflection, which is the second best bard song. So, because Song of Power cut everyone's charge time in half, which variable based on how many people around you know the charging can't, which obviously sometimes if you're playing with new people, they might not know the charging can't or the power of it. Song of Deflection's just good because Pro is amazing.
Absolutely it is.
Absolutely no notes. Song of Freedom is good. It protects you from certain states. That's lovely. Song of Battle is handy on occasion when you have a lot of armor on your field, no complaints. And then Song of Visit is Song of Visit, and it exists. I'm not gonna lie, the only thing I dislike about them is I dislike that you can sing a song in place of them, just for clarity's sake. I think if any song should be able to do it, it should be Song of Power, because realistically, enemies won't be, like, up in your face while you're doing Song of Power. So for clarity, I think that should be the only one where you can sing a song in place of it, and the rest of them should just be the chant itself, like the normal chant. But I was like, a Song of Power is standing still anyway. Like, props to the people who can fight while singing, but also, like, Song of Power is just, that should realistically be the one where I think you could sing a song in place of it. But that's my 2 cents on if we were fine-tuning Bard as, like, a class in general, but that's, I also play a really weird type of Bard, so...
That feels like a kingdom complaint almost. Like, if you're at your local park and you've got your local bard that has their specific songs they're singing for those states, you can kind of get used to them. But if I'm coming up on some like random bard,
someone I don't know,
and they're just over here singing some random song I've never heard before. Oh, okay.
Or if they're singing, even if they're singing certain songs like if they're singing I Will Survive, you could brand that as Song of Survival, obviously.
You could
You could
throw
also
it.
make an argument that it's Song of Determination.
Yeah. You can make a pretty solid argument that Eye of the Tiger could be literally any of them.
Yeah, literally. That's the only issue I have with them, is that
It's Schrodinger's
honestly,
song.
I could use Eye of the Tiger for every single one of them.
Right. I soft think that maybe the game runner, like whoever was writing this, intended people to write their own songs specifically
Yeah.
to fill these these songs that are there, and you have your own song of power, and it's about how great you are at empowering your team, but that's not the practice I've seen.
Yeah, because it also doesn't say that you have to, so.
Right. It's very rare for me to see anyone actually singing a song instead of doing a chant.
Yeah, I normally would just say the chant for clarity's sake, because also, whenever I would sing a song, I would get stopped so much to ask which effect are you doing, that I just found it easier for myself as a player to just say the chant. Also, from a Reeve standpoint, because I do a lot of Reeving, I prefer when people just do the chant. I do not mind when people do a song in place of them, because obviously they're allowed to, as long as they are being conscious of reminding people what their chant actually is.
Right.
But most of the Bard songs are cool. The only gripe that I have with them, I don't like that they're enchantments and take up your enchantment slot. It's really frustrating. It's a weird thing about Bard.
On the other hand, I really like dispelling Bard songs. Yes, they're unlimited, but also if you dispel them,
It's funny.
It's funny. And if you dispel their Song of Interference, they're like, oh, and then you hit them with something.
Yeah.
Dispelling Bard songs. It's great.
Yeah. That's the only other thing that's sad about Bard, is it's the only caster that doesn't get Dispel Magic, which normally wouldn't bother me. But now that Barbarians are also enchantable, and like pretty much, and now that everyone's enchantable, it's sometimes a little frustrating to play Bard when there's so many enchantments out, and you're like, hey healer, can you dispel that guy please? I can't do anything about it. I can't stop him.
I kind of think that Druid also shouldn't have Dispel.
You know what? Me too. And I have been on this rant for eons. Put healer's Dispel Magic back to 5. Take it away from Druid. They could keep Naturalized Magic, I don't care. Naturalized Magic is good because thematically it makes sense. And then give Bards Dispel Magic. I will die on this hill. Bard should have it. Bard and Wizard should have it. Healer and Druid, meh. Because the whole thing is, the other thing about Bard is an anti-caster. They have great con and suppress aura. They like to mess with other casters, whether it's positive or negative. Same thing with Wizards. They should have it. Also, because their magic is unnatural.
Hear me out. We take armor away from Monk, and in exchange we give them Dispel.
They already get Sever Spirit as one of their archetypes, so...
You have to kill him first.
You're playing a Monk. Come on, you can kill him. It's fine.
Like, I know. I think...
I think Monk is at a pretty good spot right now. I think Monk is actually, like, at a good spot. Do I like Monk? Personally, not really. I don't derive a lot of fun from it, but it's cool. But I think it's actually, like, balance-wise pretty solid at the moment. I have no complaints about it. From what I've seen of all my friends who actually like to play Monk, they really like where Monk is at right now. And they were like, yeah, it feels good. It feels the same. It has the same thematics. It's fun. We got a little more cool stuff. It's chill. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, that's acceptable.
I think looking at least here in the Rising Winds, the thing that we have too much of on the field right now is shields that can't be broken.
Yeah, with like imbue shield and stuff.
And just rampant dispel. And it's not from the Wizards, who are the best at dispel.
It's from the healers.
It's like, I don't know why the reason healer needed dispel was because local parks needed a third class that could dispel regularly, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that giving healer a non-rechargeable dispel per refresh at level 4, that's still a charge times 10, right?
Yeah.
And no one has time for a charge times 10 at park.
Hello, Battery Bards.
I mean, Battery Bards are fantastic.
Battery Bards unites.
You're looking at a group of people that just, not everything is available, right?
No, 100%.
It doesn't...
Because what? For Scouts, is it chargeable or is it per life? I always forget. Scout is... one per refresh, charge 5.
Yeah.
Am I looking at the Sassy or the Sappy one?
You know...
I'm looking at Sappy. Okay,
Let's throw out a completely controversial statement. Let's give healer Dispel Magic at level 5 per life.
That's fine.
Just 1 per life.
Like, it was at level 5 before, but it was per refresh, so it was bad and no one took it.
Right. If you made it per life...
Per life is totally fine, I think.
You know? because we've got a bunch of classes that have per life enchantments now. And I don't necessarily think that that is a big a problem as it used to be.
Yeah.
So, maybe that would fix it.
I think that, honestly, like, I would like it if Bard had Dispel Magic and I'll die on this hill just because it feels really sad as a Bard to, like, look at these people that are stacked and not be able to do anything about it. But Bards also do get the funny sleight of mind.
I kind
So
of think that Bard thematically doesn't need Dispel Magic.
thematically,
Bard's
probably
stuff,
not.
Bard's stuff is all about interrupting what's happening now, not changing what happened in the past.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
Which is what I think is really funny about
I have
it.
some thoughts on how I would personally buff Bard, but we can get to there. Before we get to there, let me circle back around to our question.
Oh yeah.
When you're playing Bard, are you buying the armor? Are you buying the swords and shields? What equipment do you take?
No, I take a dagger. When I tell you, I play Bard really weird. I play Bard really weird. I take a dagger and that's it.
I think you should invest in a magic staff. They're awesome.
Well, okay, at the time I was playing Bard every week, magic staffs weren't a thing.
Okay.
Because I got my Paragon Bard in, like, April of 2024? Yeah, 2024. It was, like, around a year after I started playing.
Yeah. April 20th, 2024.
Yeah, I got it on 420. But, yeah, I got it around, like, it was like a year and a month after I started playing, so it would have been in 2024. Magic staves. I was on the grind set, man. That was the only thing I played. I didn't touch any other color sash, literally for an entire year.
Yeah.
I think maybe I tried healer once before I got Paragon Bard, but I was like, nope, don't care. I want to play Bard. That's all I care about. I probably would take a magic staff now because I think they're fun and I like them, but I like the daggers because there are so many times that people would run up on me and I would just, like, immediately drop, try to stab under their shield, and I would Simo with people, and I was like, I'm okay with this because my healer's right over there and he's gonna resurrect me before you go back to your spawn, so it's fine. So typically, I was fine dying because I was playing next to my friend Elidibus, and if he was the healer, as long as I killed them, or he got to freeze them and I happened to die, then cool, I was back up again. It's fine. Most of my stuff is per refresh anyways, so getting resurrected doesn't really affect me as much, because my spell lists are mostly per refresh things that are chargeable.
Okay.
So
Yeah, fair.
I don't take equipment. Do I suggest people normally take, like, for initially I was taking a shield. I would just take a medium shield and a dagger, but then eventually I just dropped it because I was like, it's too many points. Because when I hit Dervish at level 6, I was like, cool, that's a waste of like 10 points, or like it's a waste of like 6 points. Was it 6 or was it 10 at the time? Let's see, this is the saucy rules. Yeah, it was 6 with Dervish Bard.
Yeah.
At the time, so
That's a lot.
yeah, I was just like, yeah, that's a lot of points. That's 6 stuns right there. Not leaving those alone, or I guess 4 stuns. Not leaving my 4 stuns off the table.
As a battery bard, what kind of weird rules interactions might you be finding out there?
Well, definitely one of the ones that I think people forget a lot is that confidence can't be used within 10 feet of a living player, or living enemy player.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I was like, any living player? That
No,
seems
and
like a-
living enemy player. Sorry.
Okay.
I think that's an interaction people forget a lot because it most of the time it's not significant because a lot of the time when you're using it on people in your backline. But what I would often do is when I saw that the fight died down a little bit, I would run up to the front line and be like, and then run back because I was like, all right, cool. While there's no one here, I'm gonna charge everyone up and I'm gonna go disappear in the back line again. So that's one that I think people forget about a lot. One of the other things is the stuff with using Break Con on people, because Break Con's basically a counterspell.
Yeah.
That is its job. It is to interrupt someone who is actively casting something. Normally, you're not going to use it to try to shut someone up because it only lasts 10 seconds. That's what Suppress Aura is for. So if I'm going to use it, I'm going to like use it to interrupt someone. So it's really the remembering, did you get your Break Con off before that person finished their incant? Like, trying to remember if it's like a ×5, try to start it early before they're at the 4 mark or the 3 or 4 mark, because depending on the person, you're not going to beat them. You probably won't finish yours before they finish theirs, or at least it probably will be so close together that at that point both of them should resolve anyways because of how close it is. But other than that, a lot of the Bard stuff isn't like super weird, except for like Heart of the Swarm is weird, but that's weird for every class that uses it. Song of Survival is funky because sometimes people forget that you only get one get out of jail free card per life.
Right.
And also like remembering like, hey, you have to actually start your song before you die. You can't just activate it after you die if you weren't already chanting. You can only actually use it once your chant has begun. Otherwise, if you get killed before your chant has started, womp womp, you just die. Other than that, I feel like a lot of Bard, once you actually start using it, is pretty straightforward. Even the few enchantments they can give to other people, like Amplification and Silver Tongue, they're pretty straightforward. It's like, cool, now you have extensions, now you have Swifts. All right.
So you play a lot of support Bard, and Bard is, I think, without I can't find a class that is more, I want to say more better, but that's not the right English. I can't find a class that is better equipped for supporting other players actively. So healer is better at supporting people being not dead, but Bard is everyone's favorite class. Like every time I ask someone, how can other classes best support your class? They say Bard can come over here and give me back my stuff. But is there a
Yeah.
way that other classes can help the Bard out? What is the Bard looking for?
So for me personally, as a battery Bard, the only thing that I might want from someone else is I would want my other bards to take Song of Power. Every bard should have every bard should have Song of Power on their list. I don't care which type of bard you're playing. Every bard should have it. Because the second there is another bard on your team, you cannot confidence their confidence. You can't like restoration their restoration. You can't replenish each other's stuff unless, you know, your stuff is chargeable and one of y'all drops Song of Power to make their life a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Because Song of Power suddenly makes your confidence charge 2 because it rounds down instead of charge 5. So, which is insane. It's insane because when you dump a lot of points into it and you have like freaking like you have 8 confidences, it's like cool. I'm going to get those back in a charge 10. And I'm going to run around and go replenish my team and come back and sit here for what, like 30 seconds to replenish myself. It's fine because like okay, getting charges off for me is really quick, but that's because that was the only thing that was the one thing that is the skill like floor for Bard. It's how quickly can you replenish yourself to go back out and help other people. At least that for me that was like the skill cap a lot of the time. It's the speed of which I can replenish myself and keep going like this with my resource pool. And then also I always like taking restoration because it's really handy because like with battery Bard, I would obviously take like the stuff that could charge other people's things and like innates, a few terrors as a get off me card, a few suppress auras as a leave my caster alone card. But then I would also take, you know, mends, releases. Because if I'm going to be battering someone, what use am I to them if they're frozen? Or
Yeah.
if I'm like helping out a bunch of people on the front line, then I should be able to like mend my paladin's stuff if they're like their thing gets force bolted or something, like if their sword breaks, like stuff like that. It's handy to have the restoration because it's just walk up to your fellow bard one line, here you go. But other than that, the only support I want as a bard is to not die. Because I can't do my job if I'm dead.
Sure.
That's really all I want. I'll happily sit next to a healer who's got a shield and an ice balls and we'll chill. That's like literally what myself and my friend Elizabeth did because we were working on getting our healer and bard next to each other a lot of the time. But also, if I'm playing next to like other people that I don't know, I'm gonna look for people who are either playing like mid to backline that I can stand next to. So if I'm making callouts for them, like there's 2 people running at us, I'm gonna terror one of them. Can you fight the other one? And then we'll work through this together. Because normally, if you're playing a combat bard, you would do that yourself. You would single out 2 targets running at you. You would single one of them out, fight one. So you can stagger them so that way you have a chance of actually fighting the other one one-on-one. You want to pick one-on-one fights and you want to make them unfair.
Yes.
So if I'm not doing that personally because I'm not bringing weapons, I'm going to sit next to someone who's a good fighter, and when we get rushed, I'm going to make the fight unfair.
Yeah. Okay.
I also normally don't take Swift because most of the stuff that I would Swift anyways is like mend and release, which I normally can do quick enough on my own anyway. So I typically don't take those because pretty much everything else a bard gets is at range, so those are kind of the only 2 like targets for it
Okay.
that are of substance, but basically, I just want someone to stand next to where I won't die. That's my favorite support as a bard.
All you need's a friend.
All I need is a friend, man. That's all I need.
So you play Bard in a really unique way. Usually Bards abscond from enchantments because they want their song. You obviously like Song of Power. Is there any enchantment that you think to yourself like, maybe that's worth losing the song access?
Fair.
Gift of Air is the GOAT.
I love me because I only take a dagger. So if someone walks up to me and they're like, "Do you want Gift of Air?" My dagger is suddenly on the floor. I don't need it. Which I wish I don't know where my dagger's at. I think it's in that bag over there, but I have the most perfect dagger in the whole wide world. That's kind of the main reason why every time I'm playing I want to use it, because it's so beautiful.
Do you want to run over there and check really quick and see if it is there?
Yeah, let me see. Alright, so the most perfect dagger in the whole wide world. I present to you Why do I say this is the most perfect dagger in the whole wide world? Oh my god, are you a little warped? No. The move! The move has made you a little concave here. We're gonna have to fix that later.
It'll even out.
But
it'll even out. Give it a week.
yeah, it'll even out. It's not squishy at all. She'll be fine. But okay, the reason why I say this is the most perfect dagger in the whole wide world. One, this was a gift from who is now my knight, Sir Stinkfoot. So, one, sentiment. Two, this is a max length dagger, and the reason why I love it is because when you choke up on the handle, which is super comfy to grab, this becomes a really deceptively long dagger.
Okay.
He made it specifically for spellcaster. That way, when you're choking up on the pommel like this, you have a really good grip. This never flies out of my hands, and I have an insanely large amount of reach for only having a dagger. Because normally, you're holding your dagger like this.
Right.
And then, instead, I have an extra, like, probably 2 to 3 inches of range, which is really deceptive.
Yeah. I know a couple of fighters that fight with 40-inch longswords, because everyone's used to the reach of a 36-inch short sword, and so you get the 40-inch longsword, and suddenly you're just...
And it's just a little bit more, and people... And it's a weird calibration.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
But yeah, I love this thing. Initially when I started playing, I had the goal of I wanted to get Battle Master without using sword. I wanted to only do like daggers, or maybe only shield, or
do it. That'd be awesome.
Bows, which so far it's working. Because when I was playing healer, I only took a shield and a dagger. So no sword. Now we're working on assassin with a bow.
Oh, okay. Man, I was hoping Wizard was coming up.
Wizard will be coming up, but I'm saving that one for later.
I'm taking that as a promise.
Eventually, I want to get Archmagus, which requires me to play all of them, and get Paragon and all of the casters. Which Druid is the one I'm least excited for. I'm not excited for Druid, but Wizard I'm super excited for.
Don't play a class you're not excited for to chase a fake title.
Oh, but it would be so cool. Well, okay, the thing is that I know that I'll like Druid when I start playing it. I'm just nervous to start playing it.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but something about it just unnerves me. Maybe it's because one of my friends is actually one of the most insane druids I've ever met in my life. His name is Nini the Green. He's also from Neverwinter.
Nini the Green on the show. I have heard about Nini the Green a bunch of times.
I can try. The man is busy. But
get in his
God,
ears
I love him.
And be like, hey, come on Callahan's show. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, like, ooh, you wanna do an interview with him so bad. But yeah, I would love to, because he actually has some of the most insane druid knowledge of... He is the most knowledgeable druid that I have ever met.
I've heard this from no less than 3 people, and I really want Nini to... Nini, if you're
He's
out
elusive.
There, please contact me in any way.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. But yeah, like, I think that might be the reason why I'm, like, slightly intimidated to play druid, but no, wizard just looks super fun. I know also a lot of disgusting wizards, but wizard, I know it's my play style of yelling at people, so I know I would like it.
You won't be able to backline wizard effectively, but you can have a lot of fun with
No, but I don't want a backline wizard. I want to get in there like swimwear. I am ready.
That's awesome. Okay, circling back around to Bard, because this is a very serious Bard conversation.
Yes.
What is Bard weak to as a class, and how are you overcoming that weakness?
Well, when I tell you that my biggest hurdle at my park when I started playing Bard was, well, obviously aside from there being other casters on the field who were better than me because I was new, which was a great way for me to learn how to get better, my biggest hurdle were monks, because I literally can't do anything to them.
Right.
Bards don't get spell balls. Like, all my stuff is at range, and it's verbals. For me personally, because of the way that I fight, I am not gonna walk up and fight a monk. If you're playing a combat bard, your answer will probably be different. You probably don't care about monks, like, at all. Maybe you care more about wizards or something. I don't know. But for me, though, in the way that I play, monk was my biggest threat, because when they would charge at me, my only answer was to run the other direction. Especially because I was playing with a lot of really good monks at my park, so it was a hurdle. But other than that, the only classes that are more difficult to get around, I would say, are the ones that are immune to command, which in Neverwinter for the longest we didn't have a lot of paladins and anti-paladins playing, which is still true. There are more though than before, so it can be difficult because there are more of them now. But when I was playing, it was not really an issue. Also, because I still have, stuns in my back pocket, to drop on a unsuspecting paladin or anti-paladin, so I have a thing to do to them. And I can still terror an anti-paladin, at least, in barbarians, but paladins are probably the other, like, big hurdle, because, like, normally they're decked out in armor, they have, like, utility for their team, they're immune to command and death, so there goes, like, everything except my stuns. So that's the big issue with them. Like, the same thing could apply to Barbarian because they're also immune to command, but they're not immune to death, so, like, realistically, it's fine.
Okay. Do you just not take shove, or do you not like that spell?
I do take shove, but it's mainly my mission abort button. Because shove is good because it is sorcery, so it is good utility. My only issues were that for me personally, because of the fact that I was often getting resurrected, I wouldn't get my shoves back.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to make most of my list chargeable because a lot of the time I wouldn't die, which normally is a good thing, but when you take per life abilities, it's not very good. You kind of want to die sometimes. So that's part of the reason why I typically, when I was initially playing Bard, wouldn't take Lost or Shove. Lost and Shove are very good. Lost only gets better at Kingdom because then the field is bigger. Suddenly my Lost is a kill spell, basically. Because it's literally cool, walk back to your base and come back. That's basically a kill spell, depending on the field. But no, like, Shove is good. It's just also, like, I feel like a lot of the time, unless I am up front trying to, like, break holes for my team, Shove can be a little inconsequential unless I'm just trying to get someone off of me really quickly. So I'll take, like, a couple, but I won't rely on it for, like, it's like a back pocket situation. It's not like I'm actively using a bunch of shoves.
Okay, I can see that.
But that's also because the way I build my lists, it's very battery heavy.
Now, are you doing that at your park level as well, or is just your kingdom build?
Not anymore. At park level, I haven't played Bard at park level in a long time.
Okay.
Because the thing is, like, I'll play it if I know someone's trying to get used to their class and using their abilities. I will like to play Battery Bard just so they can be like, hey, I know you're gonna run out of your stuff because we played a lot of, like, grindy games.
Okay.
So sometimes you're gonna run out. So here, I'm gonna top you off. Keep learning your stuff. But when I'm at local, if I was ever playing Bard, I would play, like, with my CC mainly and take Battery as, like, a side, smaller portion. So I will always take Confidence, and I will normally take a few, like, either a few empowers or restorations, but normally if I'm not playing primarily Battery, I won't take both. But normally if I'm playing, like, mostly midline CC and not Battery, like, it'll be, I'll Terror and Suppress Aura, both experienced, I'll take Shove, and I'll take Stuns, I'll take a little bit of Confidences, a little bit of Empowers. I'm normally still playing Dervish anyways, so my Empowers are 4 for the price of 1. So I'll normally start a game with, like, 12 Empowers, however many Confidences, and then the rest of it is just dumped into Terror, Suppress Aura, Innate, and Shove. Whichever other CC I decide to put in my list. Normally I won't take Lost at a local level because it's not as good.
Yeah.
Just because the field we're playing on is kind of small. Like, it's not super great. I'd rather just shove someone because normally you're not going to be immune to sorcery.
And it's a lower point level too.
Yeah, it's level 1.
Okay.
So I can get so many of them. But yeah.
Okay. So when you're building your spell list, can you walk me through that process? Do you use the same spell list every time you start? How do you build those?
Normally, the core of my list is normally the same. I might just change the numbers a bit. If I could actually pull up my spell list app real quick because I think I have the spell list that I primarily use. I'll just basically make a copy of it and tweak it, depending on my team. Because, like, what I used to do was I used to make a custom spell list every time I would start a new game. Which, normally, like, it's basically the same anyways, just with a few edits. Like, oh, we're playing a point control game, I'm gonna drop in a couple more terrors instead.
Right.
Or a couple more things like this. Like, the list that I was running consistent when I was working on my Paragon. Dervish Bard, 6 confidence, 4 releases, 12 empowers, 4 innates, 4 mends, 6 break cons. This was because Saucy, that was the most I could take at the time, if I remember correctly, when they were still per refresh at the time, which now that's just even better, because now they're per life. So now with the Sappy changes, like, that I'm more okay with dying now in Sappy because break con is per life, shove is per life, loss is per life. That's awesome. I am more content with dying now than previously during Saucy, and then I would normally take Restoration and Terror and experience both of those, and then Song of Power. That was pretty much it. I ran a very tight list because I would just take a lot of instances of one thing. But honestly, like, between Saucy and Sappy, there weren't a lot of big changes to Bard that I particularly cared about other than Charge to Max. It was the best thing that ever happened for Bard. Literally, God's gift to casting, and also the best thing to ever happen to Bard. Because it was so annoying to confidence someone, confidence, it was annoying. And the thing was, I think the reason why Battery Bard was so awesome for people during Saucy was because you couldn't charge to max. So having a Bard was really helpful because you didn't have to stop every time you casted something to recharge your own stuff.
Yeah.
Your Bard would just bite the bullet and do it for you. But now, the reason why it's also nice with Sappy is because then a Bard can charge you to max and then sit in a corner and chill for a minute and then come back.
Right.
So...
And if I bought 10 shoves and you make them all recharge times 1, let's go. I'll charge 10 of that real quick and we'll go, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah, which, like, realistically, would I ever experience shove? No. But, like, if I saw a wizard who was running a lot of shoves and other per life things, I'd be like, cool, restoration, go have fun.
Like,
I'm gonna sit here for a minute. Yeah,
those
like...
restorations are crisp. I love getting restoration.
Yeah, restoration's, like, fantastic, especially for healers, because, oh, God, dropping that on a healer, they love it. They eat that up. With druids, it's not very helpful because a lot of the druid stuff is per refresh anyways, but...
Druid is the second best at everything, and so they deserve less.
Correct. But, yeah, whenever I make the spell lists, like, I normally just, like, also slightly tweak that core list for whatever game I am playing, because, like, I wonder if I can get this to show up. I had a lot of Bard spell lists. There used to be more.
Oh, wow.
Some of these are healer ones now, but also some of these are spell lists I've made for other people.
Sure.
But still, like, it's wacky, but
I've found
it changes.
that people have their favorite spell app, and they usually either have, it's just like your inbox. They either have a billion spell lists that are completely unsorted in any way, or they have less than 5, and they delete them. I will write a spell list for a specific game and then delete it when the game is over. But my core spell lists are usually pretty similar, like you were saying. Like you make little adjustments here and there to meet your team in the game that you're playing.
I only use the spell list that's on the Orc app for Bard, because most of their classes have gotten too many changes to where I use the one that Mithron made, the spellbook app. It's like the website, which I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I haven't seen that one. I've been using Swiftguard, which was made by somebody up in Polaris.
Yeah, the spellbook app that I use, which I'll send you a link to, was actually made by a gentleman from Darkwater and Neverwinter named Mithron, and I love this guy.
Is it on iOS?
It's on just browser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just a website. You can export your list. It's updated. It was updated literally like instantly after the rules came out, like,
nice.
Which is the main reason why I liked it, because every time that the rules would update, Mithron was like, "All right, my thing's updated, have fun," and I'm like, "I love you, man."
I really want all of our app making people to get together and make one really good app, and then put that on all the platform, and then we keep that going forever.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of them, and I like different tools for different things, but we have too many apps. We don't have enough.
Like
apps.
that one's my go-to, because when I was playing healer, there were a lot of changes that weren't updated on like the Orc app that's on like iOS. I was like, with Bard, I knew the lists and points well enough to where I was just like, hey, my break cons are per life now, and also I bought this. That's like, if I was making a list for someone, I'm like, cool, there's armor points. You'll notice there's unspent points. That's because the price value is different now, or something like that, yada, 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 whatever.
So I want to take a quick minute and talk about the different archetypes.
Yes.
The archetypes are cool.
Yeah, the Bard archetypes are really funny.
So looking at the first one, let's talk about...
Which is Dervish. Oh, Combat Caster.
Yeah, let's talk about Combat Caster. So Combat caster can cast abilities with no empty hands. They can have full hands.
Yeah, all the hands.
Do you buy Combat Caster or are you using Combat Caster?
Me personally, never.
What a completely
Because
unforeseen answer.
no one could have ever thought that. Combat Caster is fantastic. I never take it, but it is fantastic.
Now, you've mentioned Dervish several times. You really don't care about that downside, because Dervish says that equipment costs are doubled, but each verbal gives you double the usage.
Yep.
You get so many verbals with this. Like, this is an insane payout, honestly.
Yeah, verbals for days. And for me, it's awesome because the second that I hit level 6, I was like, oh, my not using of a... I literally threw my shield away. I was like, I don't need this. Obviously, I didn't throw my shield away, but I was just like, I don't need you anymore. All I need is this. This is all I need. Because I don't have to spend any points on this. That's why I love daggers. But... yeah, no, I think Dervish is fantastic. Dervish is a little broken. Please don't tell people Dervish is broken. I don't want them to change it ever. It's so good.
It's such a...
For most people, it doesn't work, but for me, it's...
okay. What about Legend? It gives you double the extension and...
it's okay. It's whatever.
Legend is... I think... I have a really controversial opinion about Legend. I think that Legend should make extension unlimited, just like Battle Mage does for Wizard. Because it's the same... it's the same archetype, but with a different meta magic.
And then you can't take Swift, which it already has a consequence. Which, to be fair, for Bard, that's not really that much of a consequence. You only have, like, 2 spells that you would Swift anyways.
I mean, if you really wanted to punish them, just say that they can't take the song.
Yeah, or that. That's fine, too.
That'd be
like,
a big oof, but unlimited extension. Healer kind of gets unlimited extension, because they are unlimited Swift.
Unlimited Swift.
I would
because their priest makes it charge 3.
I would change Priest and make it so that Swift is unlimited and you can't have any other meta magic. And I would change Legend and make it so that extension is unlimited. And I would change Druid by taking away all of their meta magic. So you get a nice balance there.
Except for Persistent.
Yeah, Persistent, I like Persistent.
Because Persistent is...
yes, that's give them the Persistent, give Bards the extension, Healers the Swift, and give Ambulant to the Wizard. Now you have 4 meta magics. Each caster gets 1 that they're the best at.
Yeah, which, like, that seems fair. Also, like, Swift is always just... Swift is mount on Bard anyways, typically. And, yeah, Legend just feels really lame. Or at least, like, you could at least make it to where, like, your purchases of extension aren't capped. If they still want people to have to spend points on extension rather than making it unlimited. Because only getting 4, like, 4 per life is, like, it's still good, but it's okay.
It still doesn't quite work, though, because it's 3 points.
It doesn't feel good.
It's 3. Because on Battle Mage, you spend 3 points, you get unlimited Ambulant. On Legend, you spend 3 points, you get 4. So you are getting more, but you're not getting a lot. And, like, with
you're also spending a level 6 point on it.
Yeah.
On taking Legend in the first place, which is taking away from Stun, which realistically is one of the biggest spells you're gonna extension anyways.
Right.
Because Stun is per refresh. If you're gonna hit someone with it, you want to actually hit them with it. So you're gonna want the extensions for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay.
Yeah, Dervish is the best. Combat Caster is also really good. I just don't need it. Legend's okay, I guess. I never take it.
Well, and extension is already a problematic meta magic, because for an extension to be useful, you already have to have a loud presence, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to extend something, you extend something because they're running away from you and you want to make sure it hits, or you extend something because they're far away. And if they're far away, you have to be loud enough that they can hear you.
Yeah, which is hard if you're on a big field where there's a lot of action happening.
Yeah. So it already has that cost to it. It has a niche application. So I can see why Legend isn't as popular, and it's just frankly not as good as the Priest or Battle Mage archetypes, which would be its equivalents.
And also, one of my favorite spells to use on people is Suppress Aura, which is already at default 50 feet. So, because realistically, Extension's the best when it's used at like 30 feet.
Yeah.
Which is why I love Suppress Aura, because a lot of people forget it's default 50 feet, so then they'll run to 30 and they'll be like, out of range, and I'm like, it's 50, you idiot. And then they're like, oh, whoops, I forgot about that.
No.
That's helpful. Oh no, I'm suppressed for 30 seconds. What a night.
Okay, I've got some Paragon questions for you, because I'm really curious about the Paragon going on in other kingdoms. So,
yeah.
what is something that a person that wants to be a Paragon Bard can do to stand out in your kingdom?
This is, this is something that I feel like I still haven't figured out, because like we don't have a lot of active Paragon Bards, and we don't have a lot of active. Well, I won't say we don't have a lot of active bards. We have a lot more active bards from when I started. When I started, typically I was one of the only bards on the field. I was like maybe one of two.
Oh,
There was a drought of bards. But that's because a lot of the people that were good bards were playing a new class because they maybe had already gotten their Paragon, or just were trying something new because they had already had their fun on Bard. And at my park, there weren't any Paragon Bards already. There were obviously people who were good spellcasters. We have a lot of excellent casters at my park that I started out at, Falling Fire. But learning Bard was really experimental. The advice I was told when I started playing, if I wanted to achieve a Paragon, is that Neverwinter likes to see you, A, be able to play really well, B, be able to embody the class, whether that's through RP, outside of it, or whether you're on the field, you're just kind of still doing a little bit of RP, which I don't think is as important as the skill, but it's definitely like on a pie chart, it would still be a slice, but just a smaller slice. And then the last thing is being able to teach the class to other people, which Neverwinter has a big emphasis on also teaching people about like classes. Like when you're earning Paragons or Masterhoods or Knighthoods, they have a big emphasis on teaching. So one thing that I did personally was I ran for Guildmaster of Bards when I was working on my Paragon Bard. Because I was like, okay, what's a good way to show that I'm knowledgeable to people in this class, even if they don't play with me on the field, outside of just playing at Kingdom events? Okay, if I'm active on like the Facebook, I'm Guildmaster Bards and giving people advice on Bard and how to play and helping people learn it, then that will show that I'm more knowledgeable in this class than like an average person. I guess one thing with me is that because of the fact that I was running around everywhere and actively coming up to someone going, my power grants the confidence, this is for your insert spell here. Or whenever I would use restoration, I would always tell people, you have all of your pro lives back. Because I know most people don't know what that is if they haven't played with a bard, especially if they haven't played with the battery bard. So I think also one thing is, whenever I use one of my bard spells, I typically say the explanation for what my spell is immediately afterwards, unless I know the person I'm using it on already knows what it does. So I think that might have been another thing. And I think that's something that helps people stand out in general. It's actively amplifying clarity on the field. At least that's something that stands out to me, because it makes gameplay smoother for everyone involved. And also, it really shows that you know what you're doing, because you are actively, like, I think as a bard, going up to people and going, hey, I'm empowering you, this is for this ability right here, this is what I'm using it on you for. Then that's really helpful for them. And then the next time they were low on that, they can yell at me and go, hey, can I get that back again? And then I'm like, sure, man, walk over, boom, handshake, here you go. So I think that's one thing, because of the fact that the way that I play lends itself to actively talking to my team and communicating with my team a lot. That's something that really helped me stand out. Now, we don't have a Paragon board or like a circle of Paragons in Neverwinter, which is something I believe we're actively trying to workshop and think through. But typically, it just goes based off of people giving out recommendations. So I think that one of the most important things for standing out as a Paragon in general in Neverwinter is communicating with your team clearly, effective, helping your team, whether it's, you're playing a barbarian and you're actively like taking flanks, or you're taking fights, holding a front line as a like paladin or an anti-paladin, or playing a caster and helping your team, explaining things to your team, just being a genuinely good presence on the field. So I think that's something that I think it should apply to all kingdoms, but in my personal experience, the only kingdoms I've played in other than Neverwinter, I've played in Rising Winds for an event, and I played in Sea. So, like, my traveling has been not a lot, but a decent bit for being like at like 2.5 years ish.
Yeah.
So,
well, I hope you make it up to the Rising Winds again. That'd be fun.
I was trying to come up for Battlecry, but it is unfortunately not feasible this year, but I'm gonna try next year.
Maybe next year. I'm trying to convince Sid to come up for Bridge War.
I really want to go to Bridge Wars. I love bridge battles.
You should try to be here for Bridge Wars. It's in November. It's awesome.
I really want to, by like as long as like I have to make sure, of course, I have travel sorted for visiting my folks during November. But oh god, no! I literally when I found out, because when we went to when we went to Battlecry last year, when they were like, yeah, we're doing playtesting for Bridge Wars, I was like, what is Bridge Wars? I need to know right now. And they were like, oh, it's a bridge battle event. I was like, I am losing my mind. I am enthralled because Neverwinter doesn't super like bridge battles a lot, but I love them. I don't know what it is. It scratches an itch in my brain. I love them. I love bridge battles. I love
You
but
get
bridge
done with
battles
Bridge
like
Wars, you're like, okay, no more bridges. And then the next year it rolls around. Like, I've been kind of like, Bridge Wars is coming up. But then they published the games, and I started reading through it. And I'm getting back on the hype train for Bridge Wars, so I get it.
yeah. Yeah, no, if I can make it up, I would love to, but I also have a priority to try to make it to Winter's Edge in October if I do any traveling because of friend Vidalia is getting another belt and I want to see her knighting again because I wasn't there for her first one. I'd love to see another one.
Fair enough. Okay, what advice would you give someone starting out as a level 1?
My advice that I give to anyone when they start out as a level 1 in any class, which applies a lot to casters specifically, is one, try to learn a ability first. Pick an ability that you want to learn. Hunker down. Learn it. Learn it until it is instinct when you go to use it. And then once you have that down pat, start adding more. Because the thing is with casters, if you front load it, it's really difficult. And with Bard, my advice to people is always, alright, cool. Take your one sword, because you're going to feel kind of weird if you don't have any equipment in your hands, especially if you're brand new to Bard. You still want to be able to do stuff, because if you only take shoves and confidences, eventually you're going to run out of stuff and you're just going to die, and then you're going to come. And if you're new to Bard, you probably don't know what to charge on other people right away.
Yeah.
With your confidences, especially if it's your first time, especially if it's your first class. Because I know that was a hurdle for me, was learning, who do I use this? Because, like, I know I can charge people stuff, but, like, who benefits from it the most? So taking, like, one or two and taking maybe one, because it's a charge 5, so you can start practicing the charging can't. Get used to it, because you're gonna have to know it, because you're a bard. You're gonna have to know that charging can. Take, like, one confidence, take a couple shoves, and take your short sword. Just focus on using your abilities, getting used to them. And by the time you hit level 2, you should know confidence and you should know shove. They're both really quick, they're really short. Add on one more spell. Once you're comfortable with that, maybe change it out, add a different spell. Try one of the Bard songs. Try Song of Battle, I think is the other level 2 one. Practice that. Don't take Song of Visit, it's a trap. Just start practicing with Song of Battle. Get used to how the songs work. Do you like it? Cool. Then maybe you'll really like playing a combat caster and a combat bard once you start leveling up and getting closer to level 4. When I tell people, I'm like, Bard starts feeling really nice at level 3, starts feeling fantastic at level 4, and then once you hit level 6, ugh. Mwah. But I'm like, if you don't like Bard by level 3 or 4, probably not gonna like Bard. But level 6 is such a power spike that once you find your niche of whether you like playing mostly support or mostly offensive, it's pretty cool. Okay. So
what
I like to tell people to figure out what their little niche with Bard is.
Can you give me a 30-second elevator pitch for the Bard class?
We're not starting the timer yet, right?
No, I'm not timing you.
Oh, thank God. Okay. God, if I had to pitch Bard to someone in 30 seconds. If you are someone who genuinely loves playing support, Bard is 1,000% the class for you. Do you hate fighting? Do you like seeing your friends fight and stomp your enemy team while you just sit there and relax in your cozy little armchair and watch your team who you've buffed slaughter the enemy lines? Then Bard is for you. Do you hate sitting back and watching your friends kill everyone else while you're just relaxing there on the back lines? The Bard is still for you, funnily enough, because it is so incredibly diverse. For no reason. Do you want to grab a sword and shield or Florentine and walk around like God and have get out of jail free cards for when you die and just start picking unfair fights with people? You will love Combat Caster. Do you want your enemy team to be really upset because they suddenly can't be next to anyone for 30 seconds or can't be near you who's next to everyone else for 30 seconds? The midline CC Bard is for you. Do you like your team being able to use everything all at the same time, all the time forever, then Battery Bard is for you. Bard is simply put the perfect class as long as you ignore that they don't have Dispel Magic.
That's a great pitch. Okay.
Yeah. As long as you're okay with allowing Dispel Magic to be in everyone else's hands and not yours, Bard is the class for you.
Okay. Well, Bard's the only one that can counter Dispel Magic with Sleight of Mind. So
That's true. That is very
really good.
true. Which, well, sadly, that's not true anymore because now Scout gets it. But I think Scout only gets it for self, if I remember correctly.
Self only, and that they needed it. They needed it.
Yeah.
But
I also thought it was a little weird that Bard was the only class that got Sleight of Mind, I'm not gonna lie.
see, I think
Like,
it's perfect for Bard because Bard is all about messing around
Yeah.
with other people doing something.
yeah.
And so
Yeah, and it's really funny.
Bard gets to BreakCon. They get to counter spells. They get their songs, which are also counter spells. And then they get Sleight of Mind, which is sort of a counter spell that's also a trap.
Yeah.
And it's thematic there. Bard is the blue class.
The Blue Mage.
Yeah, that's what they're here for.
That's why I think it's really funny. I will say, the only other thing that I didn't mention that Swift is great for is Swift Sleight of Mind. Because someone's going to dispel your team. Swift made the power remain. Dispel Magic was off. Sleight of Mind. What?
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's great. It's great.
Have you ever taken an apprentice bard?
No.
Would that be something you're interested in doing?
No.
No?
I'm not saying this because I don't want to teach people. I will teach people any day. If people walk up to me, and they have many a times, I will teach them everything I know about Bard. I don't need to take an apprentice because I'll just teach people anyways. If people, I'm very upfront with people when they want to play Bard, a lot of the time they get pointed to me. And I'm just like, come here, I will teach you everything that I know. I will figure out what you will enjoy. I'll teach you everything. There was one person who plays out of Merc Bottom. Her name is Amalga. And at a mid-range that we had, I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, oh, Amalga's interested in playing Bard. And I was like, let me talk to her. I need to know. I need help. Because she wanted to play Battery Bard, because she wanted to play backline, because she normally does not like being in combat. So I was just like, these are my tips, these are my advice, this is what I normally play. You obviously don't have to do this. If you want to stay super on the back line, this is what I would do. If you want to sometimes poke out and harass people, this is what I would do. She took that information, she ran with it. She's fantastic. She's a really good bard. But she also has gotten plenty of help from other people as well, and also a lot of her own hard work. So she's doing a fantastic job as a bard. And it was really funny because after I taught her a little bit of things that one time, someone offhandedly was like, you should make her your bard apprentice. And I was like, why would I do that? I don't need to. But that's just also my mentality of I don't like want to take apprentices because I don't like it's whatever. I also wouldn't take a healer apprentice either. I know I technically could, I wouldn't, but
Hey, if it's not for you, it's not for you. What are you working on now? What's your next Amtgard?
Well, I have a couple related to battle. My next goal is probably going to be either Paragon Assassin or Barbarian, which will probably be a little on the back burner. I just like playing it because I recently have Shark Mail that I've been able to use, and I'm able to fight enough to where I can use my polearm again, and I've been playing Raider, and it's funny because you get so many brutal strikes, and I just think it's funny. Is it necessarily good? Depends on who you ask, but I like it, and I think it's funny. I kind of play that when I want a game where I want to get dog tired, but my next goal is probably Paragon Assassin, because at the moment, I'm a Paragon Bard, and I'm working towards my Battle Master, and my goal is that I've already played 2 really support-heavy classes, so I wanted to play something that was a bit different than what I usually play, which is why I'm not playing Druid yet, because Druid's also pretty support-heavy, at least the way I would play it would be very support-heavy, because I wanted to prove that I can do something that's not just support. I'm playing a lot of Spy Assassin with a bow, because Spy is, respectfully, incredibly stupid.
Oh, the
but
recharged person wants to have the recharged spy archetype. Okay.
in a place where I normally don't wear armor anyway, it's hot, and if I'm gonna wear armor, my armor's 3 or 4 points regardless, so why would I wear it as an assassin?
Yeah, for sure.
So assassins don't need armor. When my stuff is chargeable, I don't need armor. My shadow step is my armor. So that's my next battle game goal. My main goal, which has been my big goal since I started playing, is I want to work towards Master Dragon, which is so close. I'm getting there. I can taste it. I can smell it with my sniffers, but that is my other big goal. And then the last goal is to I'm in the last month of my term, of my second term as Kingdom Regent, and I'm so excited to be done. Not because it hasn't been fun. It's been very fun. but I'm excited for a break.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. I mean, you already sort of said yes to this, but is it okay for people to come up and talk Bard and Healer at events with
1000%. I love talking.
you? Awesome. Do you have any final advice for all the little Bard links before I let you go?
Yes. If you are gonna play Bard, one, don't let anyone tell you Bard is a bad class. Bard is so good. And anyone who says that hasn't played it yet. Because I hear that a lot, at least, people thinking Bard is bad. They're wrong. They're incorrect. My biggest advice is Bard, when you're making your lists, there's 3 very obvious paths, at least to me, when you're making a list. You're gonna play Battery Bard, you're gonna play midline CC, with like mid-rank crowd control with like your terrors, your agoraphobias, your losts, your shoves, whatever. Or you're gonna play Combat Bard with, your sword and shield or your Florentine, whatever your bread and butter. Taking a good amount of that midline CC stuff too, but you're gonna have a lot more songs. You're gonna have like your per life CC, like your shove and your losts and stuff like that. But whichever one interests you the most, just do it. Because every game should be a learning experience. Like, I dabbled in trying Combat Caster, and I didn't like it. It wasn't for me, and I learned that. I played midline CC Bard. I loved it. It was super fun. Was my calling playing Battery Bard because that's what I derived the most joy from? 1000%. But no matter what, there is kind of a niche for everyone, and the meter can still, you can still play halfway between things. Like, playing Battery and midline CC and mixing your spell list of both. Perfect. That's where I like to lay on. A little closer to Battery, but still a good amount of the crowd control. Are you gonna also take a good amount of crowd control as you're teetering closer to Combat Bard? 1000%. Are you still gonna take a twinge of Battery stuff even when you're going full Combat Bard? Yes, because you should be taking Song of Power no matter what. And you're still gonna probably take Mends and Releases.
Yeah.
Because, Release is handy. Mend is always helpful. But as you're playing this, don't forget to still diversify your spell list. There's so much pesky immunity to command that you really gotta have sorcery and death in there still. Other things to keep in mind, I guess Bard is really beginner friendly in terms of casters, I think. It has a learning curve with, learning what to charge for people, but lowest entry point in terms of equipment. I can walk on the field with just a dagger or a magic staff or neither, and I can play a full level 6 Bard list. Bard is free to play. Bard is objectively free to play. It is so much fun, and honestly, there's really no way to go wrong. You can play it on a park level field, a kingdom level field. You can do whatever. It is fantastic. So that's my advice. And also, if you're playing Bard, try out Bardics. Bardics are so much fun. That's like half of my joy of Amtgard is doing Bardics. So if you like playing Bard, maybe also try being a Bard outside of the battlefield, because it's also very fun. But yeah, that's my spiel, I think.
Well, thank you for being on the show tonight. It's been such a pleasure talking Bard with you. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.
To you, our viewers at home, please subscribe for more battle gaming content. Come back next week for another Paragon interview, and I will see you there. If you have any questions, I'll leave them down in the comments. I'm super excited to answer them.